What's up, everybody? Hope you guys had a great day today. We are going live this evening, night, whatever it is, with your guys' weekly Southwest Florida market update. So, first thing, just like normal, I'm going to get into the weather and then get into the stats. This week, we've definitely been a little bit slower than the last couple weeks, probably due to Thanksgiving. Speaking of which, I hope all of you guys had an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving. Hope you guys spend it with your friends, family, all that good stuff. We had it actually at my house this year. All of my family came over, smoked the turkey. Everyone brought sides, had a whole big get together. So it was actually an awesome time. I hope you guys all had a fantastic time as well with all of your families. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this week's update. Currently, it is 7:53 p.m. We are sitting at about 75 degrees. So today was definitely slightly on the warmer side, but we are going to be, as the night progresses, it's going to be getting a slightly bit cooler. Let's go ahead and check out this hourly radar or hourly weather just to kind of get an idea. We're going to be it'll settle around 67, 68 in the morning, something like that. But the next couple days this week, we're kind of settling out. 82 was the high today, 81 is the high tomorrow, 81, 82, 84, 83, 80, 76. So as you guys can see, we're definitely out of that like super hot summer weather, but we're not into that like super cold weather or anything yet. Really here, like our max cold that we're going to get is probably like 50, 60 during the day. There's occasionally it'll drop down into like 30, 40 in the morning or night or something like that. But I just wanted to show you guys this because I'm sure a lot of you guys up north are cold right now. And, we're sitting in very nice 80-degree weather during the day. It's actually perfect. My opinion, it's, nice to be able to just kind of even leave things open. Definitely during the day. Right now it gets slightly hot being right at that, 80 degrees. But those evenings and nights are really nice. Moving along, some actual stats. Get off of the weather. Don't want to be a weatherman. Let's hop into the mortgage rates. So we've definitely gotten a slight spike this week, as you guys can see. I'm going to show you guys as well on the bond market next that we got a spike in that as well. Just slightly. We're still in our downtrend channel, as I'm going to show you guys, but we've been watching that the last couple weeks to figure out where mortgage rates are going to end up settling. Ideally, we're going to continue to get this, downward trend. Rates are going to continue to drop. Houses are going to get more affordable. It's going to be great for buyers and sellers. Sellers, it's going to open up more buyer pool. Buyers, it's going to make your monthly payment more affordable as long as the prices don't go super crazy. But if you're able to save, 1-2% on your mortgage rate, that's potentially a couple $100 a month easily. So what we usually check out every single week, the bond market. So as you guys can see, the mortgage rates kind of follow the bond market as we discuss every single week for the most part. The reason why is this is basically the bond market is the government. They put out bonds and they sell it to investors at whatever rate that they're selling them at. So this is about a 4% rate on this 10-year yield. So if it's going to go down, you're basically betting. If you're thinking it's going to go down, you're betting for America, basically thinking that like, hey, the economy is going to be great. I'm going to put money into America. Everything's going to be 100% safe. I'm cool with getting a tiny little return on my money. The more riskier things become, the higher that those, bond prices have to get in order to actually get investors enticed to buy them. So basically right now the bond, as you guys can see, this 10-year rate is about 4% right now. So the mortgage rates kind of play into that. So the banks, they're thinking, hey, if I could go buy, government bonds and make 4%, obviously they don't really want to do that. They want to make a little bit extra, so they do what's called spread trading. They're basically borrowing money from the government at this rate that you see here, and then they're lending it at the 6% rate, 6.5, 5.5, whatever the current mortgage rates are. I think on the last page, the average right now is 6.31 or something like that. Some of our lenders are getting people mid fives, high fives, even as low as low fives on some FHAs and stuff with credits and buy downs and all that good stuff. So definitely some options out there for you guys, but just so you guys can see the trend, little bit of a spike, but we are definitely still in that down trend, so nothing super concerning to worry about or anything at all there. Median sales price, let's go ahead and get into this. So we're at 340,000 right now. As you guys are going to see with this stat and a couple of the other stats, definitely got a drop this week. It seems like the last couple weeks, or not the last couple weeks, just this week with Thanksgiving, people weren't really shopping for houses. They weren't listing their houses. They weren't going under contract. They didn't have any closings set for this week. There was a couple things, but it definitely pretty much around the board was lagging. Closed sales dropped slightly to 141. We're definitely going to want to watch this coming week. So next Monday when you guys see me, the closed sales is one that we're going to want to pay attention to 100%, because if this continues to go down, that is not a great sign. As you guys can see, last year in November and December, we get that drop. Pretty typical here, even though our season, we like to tell people it starts right around Halloween time. Usually when people are coming here, the first thing they do when they get here in the fall, they're just trying to enjoy themselves, maybe spend time with their family, do Thanksgiving, do Christmas, do all that kind of stuff. And then the second that the new year hits, they're usually here till March, April, and then they're able to, start shopping for houses in that later period. Sometimes as well, if they've already got a rental, they'll buy their house towards the end of it, then they can rent it out over the summer, pay a little bit for itself, whatever the case. But typically, Thanksgiving through Christmas, even though the people are here and they might be shopping and might be looking at things, there's a lot of other things going on. But we definitely are seeing this drop a little bit harder than we did last year around this time. So we're going to want to definitely pay attention to that. And then we're also going to want to pay attention to as well the pending sales based on the closed sales, which we have been paying attention to in the last couple weeks. This is a really weird stat that we've been watching. The pending sales are continuing to rise, and the sold properties are not following it. So I don't want to get too off track here, but we're going to go back to this in a minute. But definitely, this is something to watch. The pending inventory is continuing to rise, and the closed sales are continuing to go down for whatever reason. So that either means there's a bunch of contracts that are just in limbo right now. There's longer closing timelines. Maybe people are wanting to actually maybe have more contingencies, sell their other house, just generally a longer closing timeline. It could also potentially be investors, wholesalers who are having trouble actually getting the funds to close on properties. But it's definitely a slightly concerning sign to me that we've been seeing closed sales trending down and pending sales trending up. And this has been consistent for the last couple of weeks. If this was just, a one-off week or two-off weeks or something, it wouldn't be something that I would really be mentioning. But the fact that it's, continuously increased, a pending sale is no good if it doesn't actually close. So the fact that they're not actually closing means, at least in my opinion, there's something else, something else is going on for sure. Sold price per square foot, we're about $201 right now. So that is actually the lowest that we've been in a year. Let's actually go ahead and check this on a little bit bigger of a scale. So this is the lowest that we've been pretty much since 2021 in terms of price per square foot. So this week was the lowest price per square foot in a year. Wow, that's crazy. So that's definitely something to consider as well. Home prices are definitely still going down. Affordability is going up. Rates are not at a bad place right now. If you're a seller, though, you definitely need to keep this in mind. Sold price per square foot, lowest that it's been in a year. Definitely not a great sign if you're trying to, get the absolute most that you can out of your house. Obviously, everyone wants to, sell their house for the most money that they can, but the market's telling you what the market's telling you. The buyer demand is just unfortunately not there. Percent of list price received, this is one that we like to check out every single week. So last week we got a little bit of a spike. This week we're down a little bit, so 95.6%. We are definitely going to want to watch this over the next couple weeks to ensure that it it doesn't continue to go down, that would indicate that sellers are kind of unrealistically pricing, or that it's just shifted to a super, super, super crazy buyer's market where, you know, house just gets listed at a good price and buyers are still coming in, you know, hey, I want 30 grand off asking. Percent off of list price received. This is going to be the flip of what we just looked at, so we don't need to look at that. I clicked on the wrong button. I meant to click on this. Percent of original price received. This is what's going to be the sale price based off of the original listing price, not the last listed price. As you guys can see, this is actually getting a little bit better, so it's just indicating to me that sellers are, you know, pricing a little bit more accurately. They are, you know, wanting to get their home sold right from the start, and back in this range, you know, May, June, July, August, it definitely, sellers weren't really accepting that it was a buyer's market. They were still starting too high, and then they were ended up having to, you know, close for 88% off of the original price, versus now we're starting to trend up 90.5, 92% last week. Percentage of cash sales, this is an interesting one. This just usually shows you, you know, kind of where everything is at. So 44% cash sales definitely shows you, like we've been kind of talking about the last couple weeks, it's almost like there's a tale of two markets going on right now. You've got the luxury market, snowbirds, luxury buyers, golf access. We've got, you know, actual like more luxury houses. A lot of these people are people who have, you know, cash saved up for retirement. Maybe they sold their house up north that they paid off their mortgage. You know, it's people who have been working 30, 40 years and they're ready to just, you know, come down and retire. They've got cash to buy houses. They are buying nicer houses, pool houses, waterfront houses, all that kind of good stuff, but they're able to do so in cash. The more average buyer right now is the one that's still struggling with the mortgage rates and affordability and all that kind of good stuff. So it's definitely, you know, like I said, a tale of two markets. It's seeming like where, you know, like I said, those cash buyers are a little bit more flexible just because they, you know, just want what they want, and then the regular buyers are a little bit more picky. So you just got to make sure that if you are a seller right now in this market, that you are keeping that in mind, especially if you have one of those more regular style houses. You got to make sure it's affordable, priced right, marketed well, presented well, all of that good stuff. New listings is going to be a good one to check out. This is down pretty good as well. So this is actually the lowest that it's been in a year. This is actually a, you know, pretty decent sign if you're a seller. That means that, you know, even though the market has kind of pulled back a little bit over the last year, you're not facing a market pullback and a flood of new listings on the market. So, you know, kind of what's there is what's there. As long as your house is priced well, presented well, you're going to get the eyes on it. People are always buying houses. People are always, you know, buying and selling here, especially in Southwest Florida. So you having less competition right now in terms of new listings, as long as, like I said, your home's positioned right, that's going to be something good for you. If you're a buyer, definitely sucks a little bit. There is still tons of inventory on the market, especially some with high days on market and things like that. But we're not getting as big of a flood as we were, you know, the last couple months. So you definitely want to, if you find something that you like, you know, don't count on more inventory coming on the markets that is going to match it. New pending sales, this one's interesting as well. It went down a little bit. So again, just like with the, what do we check out? New listings, all of this is trending down. Sold, new pending sales, as well as new listings. Again, we're going to continue to watch this new pending sales and the total pending sales. Total pending sales continues to rise and rise and rise and rise, and new pending sales is dropping. So this is really like, new pending sales was rising though, and then we got a drop this week. So definitely going to want to consider that. I mean, I definitely, like I mentioned, I think that having Thanksgiving this week definitely slowed everything down a little bit, but this is definitely something we want to see if that trend continues, keeps up with the new listings and the sold properties, or if it's going to, you know, go back to this total pending inventory. If it goes back to this total pending inventory level and it continues to rise, the new pending inventory that is, definitely, again, a little bit concerning there, like the fact that there's a bunch of contracts. There's 1,356 contracts right now that are just sitting and haven't closed. So like, what has happened to them? We've been monitoring this, I'm pretty sure, since October. This trend up, we've been noticing it, and the fact that none of these have closed yet, really, to start to eat into this, and there's just this many pending contracts sitting there, like I said, a little bit concerning to me for sure. Supply of inventory, we like to check this one out every single week. That's shot up. That plays into a bunch of different factors. It's really just a weekly calculation, but if we really have this much inventory available, which we definitely could with the amount of solds going down and the new pendings going down, if you're a seller, you definitely want to, again, price, promotion, presentation. If you get all of those things, if you get all of those three things right, you're going to sell your home quickly and for the most money possible. If you get any of them wrong, you've got a 2% chance to sell, if that. So it's definitely not the market to play around in for sure. Pending inventory, again, we just check that out. And that is about it for this week. So if you guys have any questions about any of these stats, what they mean for you in your specific scenario, whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest here in the area, my team and I are here around the clock to help you guys. You can click any of the links down in the description below. Visit our website, schedule with me directly on my calendar, browse properties for sale, give us a call, whatever you want to do. We are here for you guys around the clock, like I said. So again, if you guys have any questions about what these stats mean for you, whether you're looking to buy or sell, feel free to reach out to us. We're here around the clock to help you with whatever you need to make your eventual home buying or selling experience as stress-free and easy as possible. So you guys can be sure to like this video, share it with anyone you know in the local Southwest Florida market that this could benefit. And again, if you guys need any real estate help at all whatsoever, we're here. We'll see you all later in the week for our next videos. Bye.